G'day, how you going today? Hope you're having a great day and that life is looking pretty good for you. Today I'm going to give you a bit of a self-indulgent run through, I guess, bits of my life. Sounds boring. I've been asking you guys why you want to go boating. I've been asking you guys, have you considered this, that or the other? I've been asking you guys all sorts of questions, but the thing is that I've had a lot of people asking me about what's my boating life look like. And I thought, oh, geez, I'm not that self-indulgent. Well, I guess sometimes I am. Feeds my ego. I thought maybe it might be appropriate for me just to put together some images of probably bits and pieces of the last 20 years of boating that I've done. So I hope this doesn't bore the shit out of you too much.
Black tip reef shark.
This is living. My boating started when I was a teenager at high school. I bullshitted my way into sailing a laser on Narrabeen Lakes in the North Shore of Sydney. Scared to death, had no clue about what was going on, but I managed to wing it and managed to get through and made it back to shore safely. Oh, this is fun. Years later, and I mean years later, I would have been 20-something, again, bullshitted my way into chartering a 27-foot boat in the Whitsundays. Made all these stories about, oh yes, I've been around boats all my life and I've been sailing, blah, blah, blah. I had actually worked on prawn boats and things, and I had spent a lot of time in runabouts, and it wasn't totally untrue, but it was just a little bit exaggerated, a bit of smoke and mirrors. Anyway, chartered a boat in the Whitsundays, did about 7 or 10 days there, I think, from memory, and it was just absolutely magic. Fell in love with the place, and it was just an absolute hoot. So I've had this love affair with the Whitsundays ever since. It's been my home for most of the last 40 years, and there's pretty much not too many nooks and crannies that I haven't visited in the Whitsundays, and I love it there, and I still do. And no matter where I travel around the world, the Whitsundays is still home. The places that we're going to visit on this little nostalgic journey of mine is the Whitsundays, obviously. We're also going to visit Europe. We're going to go to Croatia, where I've sailed there as well. And then from Croatia, we're going to also go and visit Tahiti. And then from Tahiti, we're going to go back to Europe, and we're going to visit the Ionian in Greece. And then, of course, we're going to be visiting where I am right now, which is in Thailand. So the thing is that with my sailing, I can't even say that I'm not much of an ocean passage guy. I'm just not an ocean passage guy. Nothing really excites me about the idea of doing an ocean passage. The concept kind of bores me, and it's a little bit daunting to think, oh, fuck, I could be at sea for 3 weeks without seeing land or without seeing anything. I'd much prefer to do my ocean passages, as I'm often telling people, with Air New Zealand or Qantas, because you get meals and dinners supplied, and it only takes a couple of hours. So for me, when I'm sailing in the places that I've sailed, and I've been lucky to sail in all up and down the Queensland coast, I've been lucky to sail in Sydney Harbour, I've sailed a little bit in New Caledonia, I've sailed Tahiti, Croatia, as I say, Greece. Did I mention the Solomon Islands, and now Thailand? I think that's kind of most of the places. But most of these joints I've done it travelling by domestic aircraft, chartering boats, getting a bunch of people, having a great time, handing the boat back when we're done, and job done. The most beautiful place that I think I have ever sailed in is Tahiti. can't say that it's necessarily better than the Whitsundays, but it's just so different. And it's so, the experiences in Tahiti are so dramatic. It's just insane. So we're going to go and have a look at Tahiti first. All right, let's see how we go there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Marks on the side there.
This is paradise. There's the airport. Jesus.
So Tahiti, we went into Papeete, which is the capital of Tahiti, which is all part of French Polynesia. There was a group of about 11 of us that we'd pulled together, and we were all going to meet in a place called Raiatea, where we'd organised to charter a 52-foot, I can't remember what it was, a Beneteau or a Jeanneau or something, and we were going to go and spend, I think, about 15 or 16 days sailing around Tahiti. So a couple of us met in Papeete, stayed in this skanky little motel or hotel for the night, and one of the guys had organised us to get the, I think, 140 nautical miles from Papeete out to Raiatea, managed to find us a berth on one of the small supply ships that takes containers and vehicles and fruit and veg and chickens and shit all over the island. So for $25 we got onto this thing, had an absolute blast of a time. The deal was you get onto the boat, now find a flat surface, that's your bed. So it was a bit rough as guts, but it was fun. We had such a big night and got to know a lot of the crew, and of course there was alcohol consumption and lots of it. But it was a hoot.
The boat we're going on, I particularly like the list that it's on, which would indicate that this could be a hairy ride.
At just $25 a head for the 120 nautical mile passage from Papeete through to Raiatea, the Hawikinui certainly sounded a lot more fun than just jumping on a plane. Once we got on board, it was pretty much a case of find somewhere to sleep.
Big ass fish.
Oh, tuna fish.
It's all GPS. Yeah.
We have a marina.
Yeah, the marina in Uturoa. You filming the whole thing?
From around about here, everything started to go to shit. The alcohol came out, we met the locals, we met the crew, and we started playing dice games down in the mess. Great night, awesome night.
We then got to Raiatea, met up with the rest of our crew. We went and sussed out the boat that we had. We'd had all of our plans. Of course, I'm the skipper and I'm trying to figure out where the hell we're going because I'd never been there before. And we got going around Tahiti, and we did from around Tahiti. We left Raiatea. We went out to, I'm going to see if I can get this in the correct order. I might cock it up. We went out to Huahine. Had an absolute blast of a time out there. We spent, I think we spent 2 or 3 nights in this beautiful little lagoon at Huahine, where on the one side of us was the reef and then the open ocean, and on the other side, maybe 200 metres away, just a nice swim across this placid lagoon onto the beach, 10 metres up, and we're in a restaurant. So you can basically swim across to the beach, walk into the restaurant, have a meal, have a drink, dripping wet, and sand in the bottom of the restaurant. And it was a hoot. We just had an absolute blast. It was so beautiful. So from Huahine we went, I think we went back to Raiatea, mucked around there in the lagoons for a while. Then from Raiatea we went off out to the famed Bora Bora. And everyone had been telling us, oh, don't go to Bora Bora, there's tourists everywhere. Yes, some were saying there's Americans everywhere, like they're aliens. But we went out to Bora Bora, and when you're on a boat, one of the beauties of it is that you don't have to be in the mainstream. Sure, if we were in a resort, we're going to be surrounded by tourists, but we're on a boat. We go to beaches like this here, all around where we are here now in off Phuket. There's no one. It's just no one. And that is the beauty of this boating thing, is that you can jump on a boat, go anywhere, places like Bora Bora, which is all tourism, and you still get to go to all these beautiful places, and it's the sailing is blue water, open ocean sailing, and the beaches are, you can always find one that's secluded and there's no one there. So Bora Bora, it was spectacular. We rocked up to the Bora Bora Yacht Club thinking it's going to be this big ritzy thing with mega yachts everywhere, but really all it was a restaurant on a dock. It was stunning. It was just stunning. We radioed in and said, hey, can we come in and get some water? They said, yeah, sure. Come and tie alongside. And where we went to, there was no marina. It was just a beautiful dock with these nice little tables and chairs and a little bar. We pulled up alongside, and by the time we'd secured, there was a guy standing there with we're all scurrying around getting ropes and things ready and securing the boat. And he said, oh, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Is there anything I can get for you? And one of the girls yelled out from down below, yes, 13 pina coladas, please. And so he said, certainly, no problems at all. Off he went to get his 13 pina coladas, and we left the boat there for hours while we watered it, cleaned it, and did a whole bunch of things, and it was just an amazing experience. Hard to explain, but an amazing experience. From Bora Bora, we went out to another place called Maupiti, which is about 40 miles, I think, west of Bora Bora. This is more remote, small island, not a great deal of tourism going on there at all, and that's what we liked. Nice skinny entryway going into the island, which is a bit spooky because the islands out there, they have these fringing reefs, and usually there's only very narrow gaps, well, not necessarily narrow, but in some instances 100, 150 metres wide, and you've got to make your way through there and pick your tides so that you're not getting there when the tide's going out and you're going against a belting current that's squeezing through this only passage. But we get out to Maupiti, and there's humpback whales everywhere, and of course everybody on the boat wants to go swimming with the humpback, so we spent an hour or so, or two I guess, me staying on the boat, just sort of drifting around while everyone's jumping over the side trying to have a nice swim with a humpback whale. So that was all pretty wild.
You're funny.
All right, ladies. Come on.
Last bit.
Yeah.
See, it's fine. Jesus. Be careful. Woo!
Rubinstein, go ahead.
top of the nest.
Stay firm, Eagle, stay firm. Slow down your weapons.
10-4.
See you fuckers up there.
Yeah, it was a little dicey, but we made it. Getting down is going to take longer than getting up, I think.
Yeah.
Jump. Alright, you got flares up there to give me an official flare so I can take a photograph?
No, but it means I should take your shirt off for you.
No problem at all.
And me and Jenna will moon you. They're pretty white. You can see them.
I'll get my sunnies, won't be a problem.
Roger that.
You guys have fun and be safe. Everyone survived okay, the hardest part, which is up, so enjoy the ride down.
All right, sounds good. You have a great siesta, and we'll see you in a couple hours.
No worries, Ruben's guys standing by us every night.
Roger that. One more, good luck. One more.
Okay, we're good. Making me nervous. It hurts.
Alright, this is paradise. Here in Tahiti, the island waves breaking on the outer reef, palm trees, beautiful girls frolicking in the ocean around us, stuff everywhere, and loving it. So Tahiti is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It's fun. The people are wonderful. The environment is just so dramatic, and it really is just a spectacular place. So highly recommend any opportunity, go sail Tahiti and really make a hoot of it. And I would love to get back there again one day, and I desperately hope that I will. So yeah, Tahiti's a good one. One of the other places that I've thoroughly enjoyed sailing is Croatia. Croatia was really quite beautiful. It wasn't as dramatic, but it was a nice touch to be able to get into some of these beautiful little villages and seaside villages where you can get a taste of the culture. We started out in Croatia, I think, with a 48-foot something or other, and there was only 8 or 10 of us on that particular trip. But I think on about day 3 or 4, we woke up in the morning. It was much the same as it is here now, relatively still. The night before, we'd had this beautiful light show with these thunderstorms 10 or 15 miles away, and that was really quite spectacular. I'd started the engine, raised the anchor, and I was just putting the bimini down to have a beautiful day out on the boat. Everybody's down below, and next thing there's a crack of lightning a couple of 100 metres off to one side, and I'm like, whoa, this is not good. Then there was a crack of lightning off to the other side, and the third one, bang, straight on top of the mast. We got struck by lightning, and it just shook the boat so intensely, and there was this bright white light, and I was standing just near the companionway, putting the bimini away. And the intensity of the vibration was just insane. And then, I don't know, maybe a second later, I heard this plop, and then a clink, and I looked up the front, and the guts, I guess, of the VHF aerial from the top of the mast that had been struck had melted all the plastic away, and just the brass bit had landed on the dinghy, on their little inflatable, which was upside down on the foredeck, landed on that, branded its mark, and then just slid and left a melted scar down the side of the inflatable and landed on the deck. And I've still got that little bit of brass. It was quite spectacular, and thankfully we had the motor running, but every single electrical device on the boat was absolutely fried, including several mobile phones that were plugged into chargers. Nobody was hurt, everything was fine, and we had some smoke in the cockpit, but that was just from the foot of the mast where it was attached to the compression post, and the compression post was then attached to the keel. The electrical wire that the lightning wire, I can't think for the life of me what it's called, but it was only so skinny, maybe 5 mil, when it should have been probably 10 or 12 mil to be able to carry that current. But the current's gone through from the compression post to the keel through the silicon, and the silicon just smouldered, let out a bit of smoke. Bit of fun, bit of drama, but you know, the guys that we chartered the boat from, they were fine. We got another boat and away we went from there. The Ionian is another absolutely spectacular place. It's just beautiful. And the thing that I loved about the Ionian is that you really can get immersed in the culture. And it's a culture that's normal for the Greeks, I guess, but it's so different for us here from those of us from Australia or most Western countries. You know, there's Australians and there was a couple of English there. The beauty of Greece is that from a sailing perspective, a lot of the places that you're going into to spend a night is you're taking your boat into a nice little seaside village that could have been there for 1,000 years, and you're reversing your boat up, squeezing it in amongst a bunch of others. You're reversing your boat up to a dock, dropping the anchor way out, of course, reversing up to the dock, running a plank over the stern, and a couple of times we would walk off the plank, can't think of what it's called other than plank. We'd walk off the plank off the stern of the boat and we would sit down at a table in a restaurant, and it's that close and it was that magnificent, and it really was a spectacular place. We had not a great deal of wind, not a great deal of sailing. That's often the way when you're doing trips like this. You'll have all or nothing. We had a couple of storms, which is pretty dramatic and exciting, but the cultural difference was magnificent, and the history, of course. It's all part of the journey, right? And while we're sailing, we're stopping at places and then pulling in with a boat and swimming in beautiful caves and all sorts of things like that. So there's spectacular things about everything, and the Ionian was really special. And the waters were crystal clear. We were having no trouble at all finding these remote and beautiful little anchorages where it could just be us and we could just wander a path, for example, and go and have a nice meal at a little restaurant somewhere out in the middle of nowhere. And it was just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Pina colada time. And there we say goodbye to Koh Hong, our home for the past couple of days. Beautiful island, absolutely beautiful. Apparently one of the most spectacular hongs in the area. And a hong apparently is a Chinese word for room. So we go through this entry here. We're going to find a hong. This is the first time we've been in here, so we're seeing it for the first time together. Wow. Spectacular, huh? We're going to do a drive past this long-tail boat. And I guess you'll see why they're called long-tails. They've apparently got old second-hand car engines mounted on a pivot, and then the main drive shaft of the engine is extended out to the propeller. Here we are on one of the many beautiful beaches that are on Koh Hong. Apparently, just up here into the bushes is the entry to a cave, complete with bats and an amphitheatre and all that nonsense. So we're going to go up. We've got our trusty head torch. We're going to see what we can find. We're getting into this lush green stuff, and just over in there you can see a dark hole, and I'm assuming that's the cave that we're looking for. Ooh, spooky. I believe that there's also bats in there, so we're going to go and have a bit of a sticky. Let's have a look. Yep, it's a big cave, all right. Oh, there's a bat. There goes one just flying out. And then, of course, the other place that I've spent a hell of a lot of time is the Whitsundays in Queensland. The Whitsundays is spectacular. It really is. It is my home. not just travelled, but moved around. I think before I was 20-something, I had about 25 different addresses, from Sydney to North Queensland, living out of a car, doing all sorts of stuff. So I've always been pretty much on the move. I'm okay with that, and it's meant that I've been able to see lots and lots of different and wonderful places. And I had the opportunity to go and do some work for a company in the Whitsundays many years ago. A year after I moved up there, this is when I was 22. I bought that business and then set up offices, and that was in advertising and marketing and graphic art and design and things. And I did that for many, many years. But from a boating perspective, I first got into boating, really got into boating in the Whitsundays. And there's no better place in the world to start your boating experience than in the Whitsundays.
Hunting for more rum. I've got to take 14 placements. How many is that? 3, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14! Whew. And then I had to take one pace back. There be the clam. And here lies a clam. apparently,
What species?
beyond the deceased clam, that's the only species I know, if I dig, it's fucking Moe! What have we got down here? Oh fuck. It must be a 20-litre bottle. It's big. It's not coming out.
Dig, Jack. Dig, Captain Jack Sparrow.
Hey. Are you ready? Look at that. A nice bottle of, it's not that, but Moe. And I'm just going to put the environment back to where I found it so that we don't upset anyone. It's amazing what you can find on an island beach.
There's 74 islands, right? All within a couple of hours of one another. You can pretty much go from one end of the Whitsundays to the other in, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours. And there's always somewhere safe to hide away. There's anchorages on the eastern side of the islands, there's anchorages on the western side of the islands. There's just beautiful, beautiful reefs and crystal clear waters, and it's just a magnificent place. Some of my most favourite places in the Whitsundays is if you've been there before, you're going to agree, places like Whitehaven Beach. But more importantly, Hill Inlet is just absolutely beautiful. It's a magnificent part of the world, and it's just mind-blowing. The sand is so clear, the water is so clear. In the right time of the year, the temperature is just beautiful. So Whitehaven Beach, Hill Inlet, magnificent. Another one of my favourite places is Chance Bay. Chance Bay is just absolutely stunning. Protected from most of the northerlies. Anything from the south, you don't want to go there, but from the north, just beautiful. Nice little reefs and things everywhere. You can go snorkeling and fishing. It's magnificent. One of my other favourite places is a little tiny beach, and I've never known the name of it, but a little tiny beach just inside an anchorage called Nara Inlet. Go into Nara Inlet, just to the right, tiny little beach. You can sit there up to your navel, in water, drinking beer, and it's just beautiful. Yeah, a bit of a catch though, that there's been a bit of a shark issue in the Whitsundays over the last few years. So we don't particularly swim in a few of the locations because of that, because it's believed that The sharks have decided to make these 3 different areas, Sid Harbour, Nara Inlet and Makona Inlet. It appears as the sharks, for whatever reason, decided to make that some breeding grounds, and they've been chewing on a few people on and off over the last 4 or 5 years. Back to the positive side, that little beach just inside Nara and to the right, stunning, beautiful, absolutely pristine. And one of the things with the Whitsundays, there's beaches like that everywhere. You can always find them. And it's just a stunning, not just a stunning area to sail in, but it's a stunning area to be in. With a boat, you can, particularly for an extended stay, in a boat you can just decide to spend a few days wherever the hell you want. I would suggest if you're going to charter in the Whitsundays, do an itinerary, but try and get a 7 or 10 days, or even 2 weeks, where you can actually find somewhere you like and think, yay, I'm going to stop here for 2 or 3 nights. Okay, the Whitsundays is just beautiful. You've got your places like, as I say, Chance Bay, Nara Inlet, Hill Inlet. You've got Stonehaven, one of my most favourite places in the world, because from Stonehaven you can get out to Langford Reef, you can get out to Black Island, you can go around the corner to Butterfly Bay, you can get into Mandaray Bay where you can jump in the water and swim in an abundance of fish and batfish that are just monstrous. It's just got so much to offer, the Whitsundays. It's just absolutely beautiful. One of the other things I've been doing on and off for the last probably 30 or 40 years is spending a lot of time sailing between the Gold Coast and the southern end of Queensland to the Whitsundays.
Here we are, just another tough day in paradise. Belting along to no one in particular, a cracking rate of about 2.5 knots. There's our royal crew member enjoying the ambience.
And it's a bit of a seasonal thing in that the Whitsundays is in North Queensland typically has what they call a wet season, or some call it a cyclone season. Not every year do we have cyclones, but when we do, they can be a little bit not fun. So a lot of the cruising fraternity tend to head south in the lead up to the cyclone season or the wet season, and then that's the summertime, and then in the wintertime they'll head back to the north again. And that wet season is normally sort of December through to the end of March. So a lot of the sailing fraternity will tend to get the hell out of Dodge and head south for that. So I've been doing that on and off, not every year of course, but on and off for quite some time. And along the way there's lots of beautiful places that you can experience between the Gold Coast. And the Gold Coast is pretty razzle-dazzle too, and on a boat it's a bit different, and you can actually hide away often on your boat, anchored in the Broadwater on the Gold Coast. And you're only a couple of kilometres away from the middle of Surfers Paradise, which can be just manic, or you can hide away. But then you've still got lots of waterways between the Gold Coast and Brisbane, for example, like Tangalooma and Moreton Bay, and the waterways between where you can have a bit of a wander, spend some time and relax. And then on your journey between, let's say, southeast Queensland, Brisbane, Gold Coast, to, for example, the Whitsundays, there's an array of places like Pearl Bay, just north of Yeppoon. There's the Great Keppel Island group. There's the Narrows, just north of Gladstone, which is a bit of a challenge. I remember I've only been through there a couple of times. It's not as though I've been through it 100 times, but it's a bit of a trick because at low tide, there's no water. It's just mud and dirt. So on my old girl, draws 1.85 metres, 17 tonne. Got to make sure that you get your calculations right, and you've got to make sure you speak to the right end of the horse in terms of getting the right coordinates, where you're taking your tides from, and how all your calculations and stuff. So luckily, touch wood, I've had no troubles getting through there, and it's been a bit of fun because there's a bit of current too, and it's very, very skinny. But the Narrows is an experience. Great Keppel, also a great experience. It's like Pearl Bay, beautiful. Port Clinton, all the way up. You've got the Percy Island group, which is, I think it's about 60 odd nautical miles east-southeast of Mackay. That's pretty remote. Every sailor loves the Percys. And then coming further north, you've got Curlew, and then you've got St Bees, and an array of islands off the Queensland coast. There's so many beautiful places to see. I've been lucky enough to enjoy many of them. I hope you've enjoyed these few moments of self-indulgence. Well, I know it's been a bit more than a few moments, but this is why I go boating. This is what I love about boating. It's the freedom to be able to go to these places and to be able to see and do things that not too many people can do. And it's not necessarily about luck, it's about choice. I make the choice to live this lifestyle. I did live the corporate life. I've worked in advertising agencies. I've owned advertising agencies on and off for years. I've had other businesses that I've run, but I've chosen this lifestyle. I make sacrifices. I don't have the fancy car anymore or the big house and all those bits and pieces. I have this. I have the freedom to travel and to come and go as I please within reason. I'm looking for experiences and I'm looking for memories. And that's the shit that's important to me. So you guys do what you need to do. Make sure you enjoy it to the best of your ability. And I really do hope that I'll see you on the water sometime. Any questions, any queries, give us a yell. And that's been a bit of an insight into the last 20 years of my life. Hope you've enjoyed it. Ciao now.